Okay, Jana. Name 3 different animal sounds. You have to make 3 different animal
make
sounds.
the sounds. Oh gosh.
Go.
Yes.
Yippity-dee-dee-dee-dee. Moo. Cock-a-doodle-doo. I don't know. Quack, quack.
Yeah, that's all right. But
Yeah.
what's beep-a-deedle
Beep-a-dee-ba-dee.
beetle?
Beep-a-dee-ba-dee-ba-dee.
What is that?
That was
Who
the
does that?
cock-a-doodle-doo. Don't you remember? Beep-a-dee-ba-dee.
No. And you
That's
can't.
what a rooster says.
No, we have determined that that's not it.
I was saying it in Spanish.
Can you imagine saying to a little child, and what does a rooster say? Beep, 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 beep.
Oh,
my God.
MacDonald had a farm. Beep-a-dee-ba-dee-ba-dee-ba-dee-beep-beep-beep-beep-beep-beep.
Hiya. Hi, ladies.
Hiya.
How's everybody doing today?
Good.
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 I'm feeling
Glad
great.
to see my girls.
Time to see the girls. And hiya to the listeners. We're so
That's
happy
right.
you're here with us.
Yes.
Yeah.
We're really excited that I think we even noticed that we had a few extra listeners this week.
All
so
right.
we're really appreciative.
Yeah,
we up to
we're a
8
little
now?
giggly. Woohoo.
We're getting a little, we're all
Woo.
excited. So thanks so
Yeah.
much. And
That's right.
it would be great if you could hit the subscribe button if you like it, and you'll get notifications when we post a new podcast.
Mm-hmm.
And then it would be also great if you could hit the like button.
Yeah.
If you
and tell
could
your
recommend us to your
friends.
friends.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right.
All that good stuff. That would be
Yeah.
great.
Yeah. We heard from a listener
Right.
about our last podcast, and I wrote it down because I thought it was so cool. She said, I was talking to my husband about your topic on Audacious Dreams, and her husband said, well, do you know what mine is? And she was like, actually, no, I don't know. And he said, I always have wanted to drive a dog sled team. He wants to be a musher.
Oh my
And I
gosh.
looked it up, and it's
Wow.
like, what is a musher? M-U-S-H-E-R. Musher is like, the driver of the dog sled team. And he's always wanted to do that.
Wow.
And she said, who knew? She said, we've been married 24 years, and I never knew this. Thanks, ladies.
Oh, that's awesome.
So cool.
Isn't that fun?
Yeah, it's kind of fun to ask everybody what they're, because it is not really something you would talk about like normally. Like, what did you want to be when you were little? Or, what? That's
Right.
awesome. Have fun.
Yeah.
Yay.
That is fun, especially since they've been married that long.
Yeah.
I bet that was a good night's conversation because she probably shared what she has always had
Yeah.
as a big dream. That's neat.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm
Yeah.
so glad to have
Yeah.
sort of been a part of that.
Yeah.
That's
and I was
awesome.
thinking, like, if that was my husband, I'd be on the internet. Okay, how can we make this happen? Try to get him that experience.
do it.
Anniversary present.
Yeah.
Yes.
We're gonna go mushing. That's so cute. I bet you could do that.
Yeah.
I probably have that. Where all that snow
I'm
is.
sure.
You know?
You can do anything
That's
really cool.
now.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
do
true.
anything.
Nowadays, you can
Yeah.
do anything.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's awesome.
The only part I would like about that is the dog part.
Yeah.
Like, I can't stand the cold. Like, if I had a husband and if he said he wanted to be a musher, and then if I tried to plan the trip, and then if I had to go,
Yeah.
if all those factors lined up,
Yeah.
the only part I would
That's right.
enjoy would be the dog part.
Yeah.
I will pet
And
the
they're
dogs.
so yappy.
And then I'll go into
They're
the
so yappy. Yeah.
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 So, what's
So-
your I am statement for today?
write it down. I put,
Or for this week?
Yeah. I am strong and confident and motivated. I had to write it down. But I feel like, that's something that I need to work on this week for sure. So anyway,
That's a lot.
I like that. Yeah.
it is a lot, but I think, it motivated. It's not that I'm not motivated, but like when you're trying to do big things, and this to me, it's a big thing is like eat right or exercise 4 times a week or whatever. And I mean, I just have to make myself do it. So I just feel like I need
Yeah.
to say that constantly over and over because, my end goal, of to be healthy and all that. So I
Yeah.
need to do it.
Mm.
So
Keep saying it. Yep.
I know
Yep.
for sure. How about
How about you,
you,
Jennifer?
Mine is,
Jennifer?
I am healthy. Because I'm feeling a little under the weather, but I'm really working on not feeling under the weather and telling my body that I'm healthy and it can fight anything that's coming and we're going to be okay and I am healthy.
Yeah,
I
good.
like that.
It's perfect.
So that's
I
mine.
like that.
Coming at you. Coming at you.
Yep.
Coming at you.
Yep.
So mine is mine is I am creating my identity in the present moment. And I mean, it kind of goes along with what I wanted to talk about today, right?
Okay.
It's just this, that's my mindset right now. What I want to work on this week is this, I'm creating my identity right now, and knowing that every day I have an opportunity to decide who I'm going to be. What is that going to look like? What am I going to look like today? Right. So it kind of goes along with Jennifer, you had mentioned before that talking about how we stay positive, and as we've gotten older, how important it is to recognize when we're having self-talk that's negative.
Yeah.
And so that's kind of what I wanted to talk about today with you girls, because I really think that that's something it's a new awakening to me. It's a new realization. I know that I've always beaten myself up. That's not new. I mean, I know that I have always been very negative about myself. I can look at other people and feel very positive, and when it comes to myself, there's this lack.
Yeah.
What I didn't realize is that has everything to do with what's going on inside of me, and that everything is a reflection of what I'm holding, what I'm holding inside, right? So I didn't realize that. Like, all this negative talk is more about it sounds ridiculous at this age, but self-love.
Yeah.
Acknowledging, recognizing how often I do it, and then going, "Oh my God, how could I be so cruel to myself? How could I
Yeah.
think this about myself? How I would never say or do any of this to somebody else be outside of me." So that's really, for me, like, why now was this idea of, because I'm finally aware of it, and I'm feeling that I'm tired of it. I'm feeling tired of being beaten down by my own thoughts. And I'm also old enough to where I realize that these are reflections, these are thoughts that are from my past that brought whatever. I don't know if it was trauma or brought some kind of negative feeling inside of me. But then I realize, oh, do I still feel that way? Is that
Yeah.
still my identity? So that's kind of why my I am statement was wrapped into that. Am I willing to be creative and still create my own identity, or am I just going to keep dragging that old me from when I was a kid that's always been negative and always told myself horrible things about myself? So it's very interesting, this concept you talked about self-doubt and negative self-talk.
And I think we kind of talked about, well, why are we all kind of started on this journey, if you might want to call it, separately. We weren't talking, but it was weird that we were all on it. And the way that I started looking at it was like, I have done this for years and didn't even realize I was doing it. It was just my mode.
Yeah.
I was thinking negative about myself, and I would pick any instance, like I said, it's going to attract it, right? So anything that I noticed were the negative things that people said about me or that I felt insecure about or whatever. And it was like this broken record that was just disgusting. It
Yeah.
really was. It was like, you have so much. Why? And it's even deeper than you have so much, you should be thankful. Like
Yeah.
it's even so much
Yeah.
deeper than that.
Yeah.
Um, that I don't know. For me, it was, I've got to stop this record and take it off the record player and put something new
Mm-hmm.
on, because we're not
Right.
getting any younger. And I wish I would have done it 20 years ago.
Yeah.
But, that's another thing. Like, I can't beat myself up over that. Like, God, I should have
Mm-mm.
been doing this in my 20s, but I
Yeah.
wasn't, you know? Um, so that's where I'm
Yeah.
I
at with the whole
I
thing.
think
It's just like a
too,
record.
like if you think of like just kind of what you're saying, Jen, we already deal with, I don't know, going through your life of not really people putting us down, but maybe they are, but having other people treat us poorly. And here we are, like we should be our own best friend. For God's sake, we might be all we have
Yes.
Yeah.
sometimes, And it's like
Yeah.
we're just
Yes.
right along with everybody else, just kicking us in the gut, And it's like, I don't know. I'm with you though. I wish I would have. I'm. I look at these young people, like, and man, if they, if they're really sticking up for themselves, especially young women
Yeah.
who are doing what they want to do
Yeah.
and they don't really care what anybody thinks about it, man, what a awesome,
Fabulous.
I mean,
Yeah.
what an awesome thing. And I just feel like, I don't know, I've been on that path for a really long time, but it's all been in different stages. Like if I look back, it was, let's say when I was, mid 30s, where I said to myself, I don't really want to be around, I don't want to hear all the chatter about negativity. Like I started having
Yeah.
a hard time being in groups where people would like bitch about their
Yeah.
husbands or whatever, and I
Yeah.
just didn't
Mm-hmm.
like that feeling. I didn't really know what I was doing, or I wasn't really thoughtful about it. I just know that's what I didn't like to do. So that it kind of started there. I got in my 40s, and then I found myself letting go of friends, people who I thought were my friends, that
Mm-hmm.
really were bringing me down in a lot of bad ways that I didn't realize, and I just kept
Yeah.
hanging on. So then I started letting those friends go. And then now I feel like now in my 50s, I'm finally figuring out how awful I am to myself, because that negative talk, those thoughts, I've had racing thoughts my probably whole existence of that I don't even hear myself. Like I don't even know what
Yeah.
my thoughts are. And so what I think the biggest awakening I've had over the last few years is to be more aware of what thoughts are going through my head.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't even know, like you can just be getting ready and I still do it. I mean, cause for God's sake, it's a hard habit to break, but it's like my hair, I'll be like trying to do my hair and then I'm like, my God, your hair sucks. Or, like, oh, your
Yeah.
skin's so wrinkled, whatever. But it's just these little
Yeah.
things.
Yeah.
And then I don't know. And then you start getting uglier and uglier in your own mind. Um, so I don't know. It's just a bit, for my first thing is just trying to stop those thoughts as they like stop saying them,
Mm-hmm.
and then trying to
Mm-hmm.
turn it around a little bit. And I will say, because I feel like meditating or having quiet
Mm-hmm.
moments, or I don't think you have to do real full meditation, but I definitely feel a difference when I am giving myself that time more often. I feel a
Mm-hmm.
difference in how I feel and how I sleep.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
My energy feels different. And I think now, because we've been doing this for a while, I start getting sort of this anxiety, but I'm like, well, what is it? I have to stop and think, well, what is it?
Yeah.
Because my
I like
body
that.
is getting it, but my brain doesn't even know what it is. And I have to really stop and think, oh, it's that comment somebody said, or it's that
I
email I
like that a
read,
lot.
or
Yeah.
whatever. But it's real interesting now, because I get more of like a physical sort of reaction to it. So,
Mm-hmm.
But
and then I got to
you
figure out how to
weren't
get over it.
thinking it. But you weren't
No,
thinking
like,
it before, like.
well, I think I was thinking it. Yeah. I mean, I had to be thinking about it, right?
Subconsciously.
But not aware.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but not aware that I was thinking about it.
Yeah.
So, like, let's just say I got I don't know, a negative comment from work or something. Let's just say, I don't know. I don't have a good example at the moment, but, and then you read it and you have to deal with it, but you're like moving on, doing your thing. And then you're like, well, what is that feeling inside? What is it?
Yeah.
And, because at first that's all you think about. And then you kind of move on with your day, but you still have that physical reaction to
Right.
it. So, but I do think the other part of it is trying to let it go is really difficult, just to say, the universe will handle it, give it to the universe. It's gonna, and you can't do that with everything, but some of these, I think the things that you can't do anything about, you do have to figure out a way to let it go or it'll eat you up. So,
Yep.
I don't know.
And
Those are
other
all my
people,
challenges.
like how they think about you, what they say about you.
Yes.
Like there's only so much that we
Yes.
can do about that.
Yes.
And that reminds me, I wrote this down knowing that I wanted to talk about this today, but there's a comment that came from Les Brown. I don't know if you've ever heard
I know who
of
Les
him or
Brown-
have
yeah.
listened to him, but he's really,
He's
really
great.
good. And he put out something. I was listening to a podcast of his, and he said, someone's opinion of you does not have to become your reality. And that goes on to this whole idea, right? Just because someone feels something about me, and I'll be honest, I'm not really affected by strangers. That's not people at work. There's plenty of people at work who are not loving my personality, and I'm aware of it, but it doesn't bother me. I don't come home and contemplate that. What does make me feel anxious, anxiety, a little sad, a little frustrated is comments that I've heard from my family, typically my family or a friend. When I felt like I've disappointed somebody, they've made a comment or I've been out of line. Like we were giving opinions and I got too overzealous and, too like, well, Taylor Swift is a badass. Look at all the positive things, and then I get nuts. Like, she's amazing. Look at all the positive things. And then, my poor niece is like, I was just kidding, and I walk away feeling
Calm down.
Yeah, you need to calm down.
Yeah.
Shake it off.
Exactly.
Shake it off, baby.
But I do have a lot of energy like that. And it's funny when you said, Jana, that you're recognizing your body telling you that now. I walked away to the car. This was just recently. I walked to the car and I could feel my body in nerves.
Yeah.
And for no reason, I kept thinking, well, there was a reason. But I now know, hey, why all of a sudden am I anxious? Why am I not calm? Why am I not peaceful? And that it has been that way because of meditation, because stopping and knowing what it feels like to be in neutral and then what it feels like to be in drive.
Right.
Yes.
You're like, okay, why am I worked up like this? And then at least I can go back and go, it's not because they got energized. It's because I was a little out of line. It's this taking responsibility for your own actions. Like, I did that. Nobody else made me feel nervous. When my brother says something that's not appropriate, I'm the one who's letting it affect me because what he thinks about my behavior is irrelevant because he's been my brother since I was a kid and we were picking noses, so I can't rely completely on what my brother, if he has an insult or something.
Yeah.
I have to look at me and go, is that what I think about myself? And as long as I don't think that way, then I need to learn to let it go. But I can't let it go if I think that about myself.
Yeah.
That's the trick, is letting it go is to say, do I really think that I purposefully, said something to insult somebody? If I know I didn't, and I know that's not me, then I can sit and have nice talk with myself going, that is not me.
Yeah.
He obviously misunderstood, but the only time it gets under my skin is when I'm not confident and I go, shoot, is that how I feel about myself? Then it's a snowball effect where I feel like shit all night or a week or whatever.
Right. Right. I'm with you though. When you said, reading your body, it's so true. I feel like I lived my first 35 years in constant amped up mode that I would never
Me too.
know I was always upset. I mean, I feel like I was always,
Yeah.
Yeah.
I didn't sleep. I was up all night, that sort of thing. Cause I was worrying. I worried about everything. And I think you're right. I think it's now that we're slowing down, trying to get just more centered, and trying
Yeah.
to let
Yeah.
some of this stuff go. Now we're just more aware of, things happening with our body. But I know what you're saying though. If it's your own, it's hard to let it go if it's your own thing that you did wrong,
If
or
it's
you
a
feel like you did
reflection of
wrong.
one of your insecurities.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. But if it's like you said something and somebody was offended, or something that you really just it's done. You don't have a lot of
Yeah.
control. Or if you've apologized because you did something wrong, whatever. I mean, you've done all you can, whatever, to
Yeah.
rectify it. You just got to let it go. So
Yeah, that's right.
it's a
That's the
hard thing to
hardest
do.
thing for me. Yeah.
Me too. Yeah.
'Cause if I know someone's upset with me, it eats at me all night. All night.
Oh yeah. I mean, I run with it. You should see the stories. I mean,
Yeah.
Yeah.
In your mind. Yeah.
Oh God.
Why
Yeah,
does it
they're
upset
incredible.
you, do you think? Why do you think, Jennifer, it upsets you so much when somebody's upset with you? I mean, what do you think is the reason that it upsets you so much?
Um,
I mean, is it partly because maybe they misunderstood, or did the conversation get cut short where you couldn't explain, or do you feel like there's no resolution, or
I mean,
you just can't handle somebody not?
yeah, I mean, I think just in my position, when you manage a lot of people and you have, a different type of family dynamic, it just seems like, and I think maybe I need to look into this more now that you said you've tried to look at, okay, I have to talk good to myself. So if someone's upset with me about something, maybe it's because that's how I feel about myself as well. And I'm so worried about feeling or doing that to someone. You know what I mean? Am I
I
making
do.
Yeah.
sense?
You are.
So maybe it's something that's ringing true with how I talk to myself, but it's not true.
Right.
I think we get triggered, and it's not taking responsibility for it. I'm being triggered by something somebody says about me because I must have something deep seated that's feeling it
Right.
harder or deeper than it should, and if I don't feel that about myself, and because some people say things all the time about us, and sometimes I know damn well it's not true, and I don't feel that way about myself, and I just ignore it. And then there's other things that get to me, and I'm like, why does that one get to me?
Right.
Well,
Yeah.
because I must have an insecurity about it, and that's the work that needs to be done, because the more you can get through loving and accepting, and everybody's going to have misunderstandings. You can't get it out until the morning, or you can't talk till next week. But that's not about you.
Right.
That's
Yeah,
about
yeah, it's not you.
misunderstanding. But when you think it's about you, like, oh shit, I shouldn't have done that. I shouldn't have said that. I came across wrong to my employee. If you know where your heart and your intentions are, and it's not only that, if you love who you are as a boss, who as a manager,
Yeah.
I feel confident about this. And if you don't, I think I don't. I will say there's many things I don't. And that's the work I'm really trying to dive into. Is it's not about the other person. I know it's about me.
Yeah.
And I know, because that's how much negative talk I've had through the years. It's pretty bad.
Yeah.
Not anymore, because I'm learning these I am
That's
things.
right.
And I'm not just saying, I'm like, I believe them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
In my mind,
Yeah.
my heart, it's in this meditative state that I can feel myself changing and creating a new identity, being brave enough to let go of who I was. Cause you said it, Jana, and you said I've had to let go of friends. And I'm like, how brave that is? It takes a lot
Yeah.
of bravery to say, ooh, this situation isn't benefiting me anymore. And
Yeah.
I'm growing and creating a new me, and this
Yeah.
just doesn't fit.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly.
It's hard.
It's really hard. It's like we have to make our brains work for us rather than against us.
Yeah.
That's it.
And you have
Yeah.
to find things that support the good things that you're telling yourself. And and the more we say the good things about ourselves, or the
Yeah.
positive, or the what we want, we're going to find them.
Yeah.
They're going
And
to
I
be,
think
it's all around us. We can have whatever we want.
that's right. Well, and I think also when you are in that not so great place, telling yourself bad things, it could be anything. It doesn't have to be like physically, but that's where you recruit that pocket of what makes me happy in my life. So then you go there,
Yeah.
Yeah.
So if
Yeah.
it's like
That's
for
when you
me,
go
my
there. Yep.
grandkids or whatever. So whatever it is, sort of as a distraction, you
Yeah.
got to change your energy and your thinking, your body and all of that. And then think about those really good things, and then maybe you
I
can
love
come
that.
back to being nice to yourself, but you just got to get out of it. Like you just got to stop.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
that's hard. I
Yeah.
mean, that
I
ain't,
love
that ain't
that.
easy, but,
But that reminds me of when people talk about being present.
Yeah.
Because that old talk that I have, it really is old mistakes. Even mistakes I made last week. Well, that's not
Right.
present. It's
Exactly.
not
yeah,
happening anymore. My
right.
niece, and she's not thinking about that.
No,
I
she's
have to,
moved on.
it's what you're saying, Jan. I constantly have to put myself like, oh, is that right now? Is that happening right now in my life? No. So I need to, right now, right now is when I need to love myself.
Right.
Yeah.
It's exactly what you're talking about, Jan. Like right now is when I need to think of something that makes me feel good
Yeah.
or that makes me laugh,
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. And surrounding
Yeah.
yourself with people, the right people. I think that's so
Yeah.
important because it's,
I do too.
I
how are
agree.
you, how are you going to stay on a positive beat if everybody around you is very, very negative? And I think if
So
you have
true.
real friends or family that are open to whatever, even just saying to them, like, oh, this just doesn't make me feel good, this conversation, can we change it or
Yeah.
whatever?
Yeah.
And if they
Yeah.
can't do
And
it,
they
then
respect
maybe
it.
you
Yeah.
Yeah.
that's right. So maybe limit your time with them if they don't, but hopefully you have a friend that's like, oh yeah, you're right. That's pretty negative. We should probably,
Yeah.
but maybe you could change
Yeah.
somebody else's thought process too. I think people just do it not even knowing that they're doing it. And they're
Yeah.
just
For sure.
sitting in a pot of negativity. So, I mean, I've
Yeah.
been there,
Yeah.
so I know what that is.
It seems easier, and I don't know why. Like, why is it easier to be negative? Like when you're with a group of women and you're
I think it's
all,
just habit.
yeah, it's weird.
Yeah.
I think it's just habit. Because I will say, the three of us have made a very specific point. I don't know what the right word is, but
Yeah.
we've made a very, what is that called? Consorted effort? Is it the right
Yeah.
word?
Sure.
Conscious
The word's
decision.
concerted.
Conscious decision,
Yeah.
concerted, yeah. To be positive, bring joy, have more abundance of laughter and love,
Yes.
and just all of these things. And I will say, we don't go down that road, and it's a hell of a lot more fun.
It is.
Yeah.
So I think
It
it's
is
just
a lot more
habit.
fun.
Yeah,
Yeah,
once
for sure.
it is, and once you
Yeah.
start it, it's like, oh yeah, I want more of that.
Yeah.
So let me
Yeah.
go back down that road again,
Yeah.
and
And you seek out
Yeah.
people that are kind of on that same wavelength,
Yeah.
and that helps
Yeah.
so much. Like Jana said, you need to surround
Yeah.
yourself with people that really bring that out and challenge you
Yeah.
to keep on that path.
Yeah, for
keep
sure.
on keeping on.
Keep
That's
on
right.
keeping on.
Very good.
Ah, that was
Well, I'm
awesome.
appreciative of you girls, because I do feel like you do that. You really make me feel like that it's a safe place to keep expanding and growing
Yeah.
and throwing out ideas. But you also make me feel seen, and you make me laugh. So I
Yeah.
do. I mean, you girls are just a true gift for me. So thank
Right
you.
back at you.
Same. Same.
Ditto.
Ta-da!
A new Spanish word, igualmente.
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 I did. Yeah. I like that word.
Yeah.
It's a good it's a big one.
Very good.
All right. So
right.
what's the
Awesome.
takeaway? Jan, what's your takeaway from today?
Ooh, oh my gosh. Just be nice to yourself.
I love that. That's it,
love
man.
Very
yourself.
basic, right? Yeah.
Just focus on loving yourself. That's a hard thing to do. So that's my takeaway from this whole thing.
I love it. I'm right there with you. Igualmente.
Igualmente.
Is that your takeaway too,
Igualmente.
Tish?
I love it. Yeah. Just love yourself to death. I mean, just fall in love with yourself. Yep.
Yeah. All right.
How about you,
Very
Jen?
good.
What about
do
you,
think?
Jennifer?
Yeah.
Hoping you weren't going to ask.
She's like,
You
bye
guys can't
bye.
get away like that.
Okay, y'all. See you later. This
She
menopause
just say
thing, my
same.
brain doesn't work fast. Yeah, I
Just say
agree.
same.
Totally.
That's
Same,
the new
that's it.
word. So I love it.
It is, yeah.
Same.
Yeah, come
I
on,
love
Jen.
Okay,
Give us something.
so my takeaway, I just think my takeaway is the pattern that we have formed and over the years, and we're just now starting to see that this is something, that's my takeaway, is that I'm not
Yeah.
the only one that's been doing it. There's probably millions of women or men, everybody,
Men, yeah.
Men,
all of them.
yeah.
that
It's
are
true.
doing it. And, I think it's just bringing consciousness to it and is the first step. So
I agree. Yep.
Yeah, for sure.
Admitting
For
we have
sure.
a problem.
yes.
First,
My name
First
is
you have to
Jennifer,
admit it.
and I talk
Yeah.
badly about myself.
I talk shit about myself every day.
I'm here
My
for the
name is
12
Gina. I'm
step
down to 10
program.
times a day. I'm down to 10. Only 10 comments. Only 10 negative comments. My goal for the week is 8.
My name is Tish.
Yeah.
My name is Tish, and I'm learning to stay in the present moment.
That's
it.
right.
That's all
That's
I
right.
got. And I can be
That's
your
true.
sponsor.
Yeah.
I can be your sponsor,
we all-
but it's very important that you like me.
Right. Right. That is so true. That's great. I love it. I love it.
Yeah, that's cute.
All right.
Well, please, listeners, if you guys have any comments, we would love to hear them. We got
Yeah.
a little serious today, but I mean, I think
Yeah.
I think it feels really good.
Good
I think
talk.
it would be amazing to hear from you all and see if you've gone through the same thing, if you're going through the same thing, or you're just a badass and you always talk to yourself like a badass, like that book you read, Jen.
Yeah.
I'm a badass.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a
Yeah.
great
Yeah.
book, by the way.
Yeah.
It really,
Great
that's
book, yeah.
another thing.
That's
you
a
just
good
keep
mantra.
telling yourself you're a badass. I'm a badass.
Yeah.
I sat and told people, my friend's husband, I was like, you know what? I'm a badass. And he was like,
I love
okay.
that.
But I did. I said it over and over. I felt amazing.
I love it.
Yeah, I need to read that book again, actually. So,
And
But,
me too. I think I'm going to get it. Yeah.
yeah.
All right.
So,
we'll keep being
very good.
badasses.
Yeah.
Hit the
Keeping
subscribe.
Love, Yep. Hit subscribe. And until next week, we're
Push
wishing you all the best good vibrations and love yourself, and have a great week. We'll see you next
Yeah.
time.
Yeah.
All right.
Absolutely.
All
All right.
Yeah.
Bye, girls.
Bye.
Bye. Bye-bye.
Bye. Bye-bye.
Bye.